What is up, Mech Arena players? Scape211 here with another video talking about probably my favorite mech in the game, and that is Shadow. When I first started playing this game against this guy, I was so mad at him, and still I think, he is pretty powerful. Maybe could use tiny tweaks, but honestly, he's just a really good mech. And once you get him, you'll understand what he's good at and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to talk about it. So first of all, Shadow is a light mech. He is a smaller guy, high speed, low energy, really low health, but what really makes him awesome and pretty much a beast is his ability, which is the ECM, electronic countermeasures. This will interfere with the target systems of enemy mechs. So what this means is enemies, once you use this ability for a short time, are not going to be able to target you, which sounds really simple, but given his speed and, that some weapons or some things really utilize targeting, it can give him a big boost. It's almost like a short-term invincibility button. It's not quite that because, good players will still be able to hit you, but it's a lot harder for enemies to hit you, and it's a lot easier for you to get up really close to them or even get around them, or try to take like key points and stuff. So really this guy has a lot of flexibility in how you play him just because of that ability. He's good at the early game capping points. He's good for hit and run attacks. He's good at attacking and killing enemies, almost like an assassin type guy. He just can do a lot in this game, so he just becomes a really useful mech. I would say he's probably top tier, one of the best mechs in the game, at least from what I've played, in my opinion, and what I see of him. But overall he's really strong. So I guess I would say, you're probably thinking, how do I build him? How do I use him? I try to put weapons on him that are going to have a lot of punch. He only has 4 energy, but because he is able to pretty much get around enemies and use stuff however he wants, he's super good at dealing with those opponents. So what I put on him are the shredders, and I do that just because shredders are super close up, super potent, really strong weapons, but really only useful up close, and there's not a whole lot of mechs that can get close to utilize this weapon, but Shadow is one of those guys that can, and when he does, man, he just destroys. If you're going to use this loadout or use these weapons, you're going to want your shredders to be at a pretty high level. I would say between 7 to 9. I would say 6 or 7-ish in that range. You can do pretty well with it, and when you're doing it at that kind of range, you're gonna want to use him against light and medium type mechs, and that's probably your best targets anyway, even when he's a higher level. Mine are at level 9, and I'm not going to be able to single-handedly in one payload take down a Juggernaut or Brick House, sometimes even an Ares if they're leveled up enough. So you have to be careful on who you target, but even if you target those big guys and you have good enough cover, you can turn on your ECM, get in behind their back, drop your payload, and get out before your ECM is done, and then wait for it to recharge while you reload your weapon, and then go in and do it again. And 2 runs of that will kill any mech for sure. And it's harder to do, of course, with those bigger guys. That's why those guys are better at defending against smaller mechs like this, but it's still completely doable. You just have to be careful. He does get swarmed easily, just because, if you're trying to go for an enemy and you try to run around cover, but there's other enemies around, you're very likely going to get shot at and killed. I mean, once this guy doesn't have his ability up, he's paper thin, so he's really easy to kill. But all that said, we'll jump into a game. You can kind of see how I get into this. There's a bit of a rhythm in how you want to turn on your ability, run in, attack your enemy, and run out, and just trying to get used to the timing. Once you do, though, it's not too bad. But we're going to start with Kill Shot, like I normally do, just because he's, I think, a little better at capping points. And the whole benefit here is to cap those points early, then see where my team needs me and bring Shadow out. And then hopefully we can you know, kill a few guys and play that assassin role pretty well. Even though Killshot also plays the assassin role, but I don't know. I think both are great at it. I just tend to think that he has a little more survivability.
Solid lock.
Oh, I got shot
eliminated.
People are asking me about something during my video. All right, so we're gonna switch over to Shadow right now. We see this guy here. He is gonna try and use those to get at me, or somebody, I don't know. I guess he was going after the other guy, but just allowed us an easy way to get in and shoot him right in the back. As you can see, I used a payload and then dodged. Now this is gonna be tricky. I don't know if this guy has already used his ability, but if he hasn't, then I could very well lose to this guy. But I'm gonna try anyway. We'll see how good we do. Oh, yeah, see, he stopped me. But there was also one of our other teammates there, so it means that I had a chance to possibly survive here, which I'm gonna do. I mean, he's gonna take this point, but we're gonna take it right back in a minute once our ability cools down. So I think that was smart of him to do, but he went for the other guy instead of me, so I had that benefit. He just wanted to cap the point. It was probably the best option for him because he had 2 enemies against him. Zephyr is a really good mech, though. It's one that I haven't unlocked yet, and when I do, I'm sure I'm going to use him a lot. I'll probably do a video on him as well, just because his EMP ability is really strong, really useful for a lot of great stuff. So, yeah. Ooh, he's got a shadow as well, but his shadow isn't going to be able to take mine out. Oh, I should have reloaded, and I didn't, but still going to kill him. That's how awesome Shadow is. I mean, I can stay on the guy. Now we're going to reload. That's something you want to get in the habit of doing if you're going to use Shadow, is always reload after every time you use your abilities and stuff. Man, that's one of the only mechs I would say that gives me a run for my money when I'm using Shadow, and that's Cheetah, just because he will use his mines to make it really hard for me to be able to do anything. Now we got a big mech here coming my way, so hopefully I can show you how to fight this guy. You'll still want to put up your ability, try to get him in the back like I am. He's just standing still right now, but you'll see that I only take away half his life, a little bit more than half. But now I can run behind here, hide for a minute, take this point. He's right there. It took him off the radar, but I'm sure he's going to try and come around and get me. And when he does, I'll be able to take him out. See, there he is right there. There we go.
You have 2 minutes remaining.
Boom. Yeah, pretty easy to take him out. Uh-oh, we got a shadow that's coming up over here. So I'm going to move this way and let him take that point. I'm also going to reload. Don't want to forget to do that, because I'm going to come over there and I'll kill him right afterwards. This is also a good loadout to deal with other shadows, just because you can easily get up on them. You don't have to worry about targeting. Even if they use their ability, it's going to be hard for them to kill you. So it's just a great loadout that works really well for this guy and allows him to have a lot of great punch. It allows him to cap points well and just cause a lot of havoc for the enemy. It's one that I still love doing. This is an Ares, so that's kind of good for me. I can get behind his back. But the problem is this guy, I think, has more health than my guy can handle. So, oh, he ran away from me. That's kind of nice. It allows me to still hold on to this cap point. Oh. I didn't even see that guy behind me. Oh, I didn't have the cap point for long enough.
1 minute left.
I wasn't paying attention. Well, gives you an idea, at least, of how this guy works. Unfortunately, I'm the last mech on our team, so we're probably going to lose. But, you know, I hope at least that gives you an idea of how Shadow works. It allowed me, I mean, he has incredible, if you can do it right, you can take out a lot of mechs, you have a lot of survivability, you can handle a lot of enemies on your own. Yeah, so, I mean, we played well, but we didn't win the match. That's all right, though. It happens sometimes, but, you know, I think in terms of how we played with our mechs, we played well. It just didn't work out for us this time. You know, the enemy was able to hold more points than we were able to, and that just, it happens. So that's how I use Shadow. Like I said, he's a really strong mech. You know, even though he's small, he's a beast in a small package, pretty much. But yeah, if you guys have certain loadouts that you use for him or how you use him, feel free to comment below, and we'll see you on the battlefield.